Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I am good. I am good. I'm not
It's
wearing
nice.
park boots though, but I have a whole
Um,
bunch beside me.
I'm sure so many people are disappointed that you're not wearing park boots and your shirt today.
I was going to like tape a couple of the just wear like cover
Oh,
my nipples with the Park City boots.
you know what? I think we would get a lot of views for that, Kyle.
We'd get a lot of something.
Yeah, I think your inbox would be flooded after that.
Yeah, yeah, for
How are
sure.
you doing?
I'm good. We live in a strange world, strange times now, but things are pretty good. I just got out of a 2 week quarantine, so you know,
Oh my
uh,
goodness, that's,
sweet, sweet freedom. I went straight to Costco, then back to my couch. Honestly, it doesn't make
I
up.
know. And how long did you wait in line?
What's that?
Did you have to wait in line or?
No, no, no. It was still normal rules. I think next week. Um, I don't want
Right.
to talk about a lockdown, but I think
I
next week
know,
that'll
I
all
know, I
change.
know. I did want to ask you quickly, well, thank you for joining us, first of all, and we
Sure.
appreciate your business and your promotion over the years. You've been such a good customer to us, and you've helped us with business. You've helped us with everything, so thank you.
Awesome.
Um, we wish you were here in person. This is our store. Welcome.
You're about to have a visitor on this live stream. 3 p.m. is when my cats start getting hungry for their wet food. So they're almost. Here's one. Yeah. Oh, he's moving the phone with his tail.
You and your cats, you love them, eh? They're always
Well, they're my pets and they're hungry. So what do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, no, it's totally. I wanted to ask you, I know I don't want to talk about the pandemic either, but I
Sure.
wanted to ask like as a model and in fashion, how has the pandemic affected your job?
Massively. The industry. I mean, we work in the same industry, just in different. Come at it from different angles. Um, it's affected things in a massive way because it involves so much travel. For you guys, you have products that travel, so it affects the product streamlining and stuff like that. I mean, I get the privilege of talking to suppliers and producers and production people like yourself at a lot of levels.
Mhm.
And I mean, for that first few months, it's just flattened. Like I'm based out of Canada, and it's the smallest market I work in, so there's not much going on for me. Ever since the pandemic started, all of my work, with one exception here in Canada, has been travel related or social media. So
Yeah.
I'm in a kind of a holding pattern to see what happens with the fashion industry right now. I mean, I'm still working, but just much less.
Yeah, and especially like for what you do with modeling, like it's there's so many people, well, before pandemic, like so many people on set, so many people touching you, so many
Yes,
people like, you know, putting makeup on your face and
right.
like blowing your nose. Like it's just like there's so much so you were in Miami, right?
I was in
Recently?
Miami for 16 days. Yeah.
And how is this like how is set down there?
It's the exact same functions and procedure as things are here. And what I noticed most is that the size, like we were shooting a very large campaign for a German company actually in Miami. Basically, what happened is the crew is smaller. There's
Okay.
not as many assistants to the photographer. Often we
Mhm.
will have two stylists when because we were doing a very, very high volume of clothing. We were shooting both their ecom
Looks like
and their
it.
campaign for spring, summer.
Mhm. Wow.
So there was only one stylist. So what ended up happening was we'd have someone coming in the night before to iron and prep the clothes for the next day, rather than have them on set the day of, just to have fewer bodies. You know what I mean? Around, keep
Yeah.
things safer for people.
Yeah.
Hello from Germany. That's funny. We're talking about a German company I
I
was just
know.
shooting for. Um, yeah, but so basically, it's the procedures are basically the same. Now, as the model, I cannot have a mask on the whole time, obviously, unless I'm modeling masks. So between
Yeah.
takes, have it on, but the crew has to have them all on. And we were all
Yeah.
tested actually 72 hours before we began working. So a lot of that.
Wow. Morocco. It's
Hi, Ava.
gonna um yeah, that would be so fascinating, because well, like I don't know if you saw in the news the Tom Cruise thing, right? Like
Yeah,
it's hard when you're on set and there's so many people and it takes so many people to make a commercial or even a photo come to
yeah.
life, right? So
I, I
it's
I would absolutely defend what Tom Cruise said. I mean, I think he did it in a very theatrical way, but that's Tom Cruise. But if you want to get that message out, it's fine. But he's got a lot of eyeballs on him in the film industry right now because he's not the star of that movie. He's as high up the production ladder as you can go on that. So everyone's looking at him, how they respond. And I don't blame him for losing his mind. He didn't go full Christian Bale, so it was kind of vague references. I didn't know Scientologists could swear that much, so
that it was hopefully it was effective because like that's
well, it was effective to the point that people were spreading it everywhere. Like I think it happened 2 hours, and I had it sent to me 10 times.
Yeah. So I want to go way back and talk about your beginning of your modeling career. I know that it was something that you came upon in your like teen year or 21, it sounds like.
Yeah, that was the first time I dipped my toes in.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't go well.
Yeah, no, it was fascinating because we've been friends for a couple of years, and I've known you, and I really enjoyed reading about you this morning.
Oh, did you that blog post on my website?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. You know, you've had so much success, and it was nice to read about kind of the struggle that you've had because I think that adds to your character and why you are such a great and approachable person. But I don't know if you want to talk a bit about that, like coming into the into your modeling career and then pausing, and how was that for you?
Absolutely. So I'm in my early 20s. I certainly had no designs on being in front of the camera, other than the curiosity that goes with being a Leo that loves the spotlight. So it didn't go well. I was too tall. I didn't frame up well on camera. I barely booked anything, and that was that. Walked away from it for years. 5 years later, by fluke of circumstance, I had the opportunity to do a little bit of fitness modeling and stuff. But that doesn't pay well. It certainly doesn't pay well now. But it gave me more exposure, more experience in front of the camera. Then as we came to know one another in my mid to later 30s, I ended up on The Bachelorette Canada and got recruited by several agencies off of that, picked one to sign with, and sort of the rest is history. And I've had a very fortunate and rare experience since being on The Bachelorette with modeling. And you know, it was one of those things. It wasn't the reason this all happened, but one thing leads to another, right? And just fortunate timing. The industry was changing to embrace big and tall, plus size men that are plus size and tall, just tall. That was just starting on the heels of the women's curve movement. So here we are.
Yeah, it's fascinating because I feel like my whole life I've read and you hear about women and all the things that we go through with being told we're this, we're that, or whatever. And, I've experienced it too. But men, like you're too tall, there's so many things. And it's so empowering to hear that, you tell your story about how you felt like, how it was hard for you because we forget that men have feelings too.
Sure. And it's not just that. There's sort of two sides of the coin of this. There's the fact that there are men that deal with body image issues and acceptance due to size from a lot of angles of the scale. But there's also the business case in that the vast majority of the population doesn't look like models from a body and shape perspective, both male and female. So to ignore them it was one thing to use those people to market your clothing, but to not make the clothing for the vast majority of people, it's just bad business. And I feel like it's a win-win for brands now, marketing to curve women, to plus size males, because that's what the majority of people kind of look like.
Real bodies.
So you can drive sales through marketing, where you can have a nice mix of both of those people with those unreal bodies. We don't want to stop seeing that. We just want everyone to be a part of the marketing campaign so that all people can approach fashion. And it's been fun to be a part of that. And hey, listen, there's people, I have not personally mentally experienced the same sort of trauma that a lot of people may have. I mean, from a male perspective, but I've dealt with it. With it. We all grab that fold. We all want to run it off. We all want to do with those sorts of things. So yeah, too tall, too big, too hairy.
Yeah. the like even not to talk about women's wear, but like Victoria's Secret, they've been doing great things with like real women, and it's just like there's a Canadian brand that I love that like has they've used real women from the start, and they are just a successful brand because of that, you know. And it's nice to see that for you, you know, you really pushed a path, and like hopefully for more and more men out there can get into modeling and be proud of the way that they look, because everybody, you know, we all have something to offer.
Anything we can do in society to let people fall in love with themselves a little bit more is a good thing. And so to be even a small part of that change of perspective in the industry has been a privilege.
And so we're talking like the push through reality TV just for a second. Your experience on The Bachelorette, like that was you know, entertaining, but it was a huge. Was it a television reality? Is it something you'd pursue again, or how?
I feel like once you're on a reality show like that, you're kind of like, listen, I'm 41 years old now. The odds of them casting me for another reality show are slim to none. I would love to be back in TV from a show hosting angle, from that type of perspective, doing a little bit more acting, sure, but I'm a big guy for acting, so very specialty roles there. But I'd love to run a game show, or like just host a
Jeopardy
show.
They need a new host for Jeopardy.
I'm not smart enough for that, honestly. I do pretty well in Jeopardy, but I'm not going to pretend I could ever wear Alex's shoes. So
okay.
Jay Perry says I have his rose.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Like so many people now are making a career in through Instagram and then reality television. You know, like so many of of our greatest customers have made a name for themselves in reality television and through like, you know, Instagram. And so how do you feel about that, like getting your personal brand across Instagram? You have such an active Instagram entertainment, like your Instagram account is so entertaining. How important is that to you?
Well, what the most important part, listen, I've been very vocal to people in quote unquote real life. I mean, offline, off phones, but how important it is to set our phones away and ignore the comments of haters online and all that stuff. I don't have many. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. If they're hating, I don't care or whatever. But the thing is,
too tall and hairy.
What's that?
You're too tall and too hairy.
I'm too tall and too hairy. People just So
sad day.
So here's my thing with my Instagram, and you've probably noticed this. I don't want to be an endless carousel of trying to sell people things.
Yeah, for sure.
I have never once, and I never will promote a product, be paid to promote a product I don't use and don't believe in. So I don't just buy and am gifted once in a while Park City boots. I wear them all the time. I have Park City boot stories. I grabbed 3 pairs for a reason to show you guys.
Yeah.
The skincare companies I use, if I've been paid to put something on Instagram, it's because I use and believe in the product. I'm not selling skinny teas. I want to entertain people, make people laugh, and just when you build an audience, honestly, it becomes with the responsibility to not, pardon the language, but bullshit them. And I don't want to do that. So I'm on this video right now. You're not paying me. I'm on this video because you make good boots. That's it. I don't want to help you guys out. I wear a 15 or 14 depending on who's making them.
Yeah. The you have our winter boots, right? Sable Islands, or
ta-da!
Oh, perfect.
Ready to go. Well, it is winter, and so I have to say this about all Park products.
Yeah.
I've put a lot of kilometers on them, and that means something because you guys are making a higher end leather boot, and they don't cut my feet, they don't hurt, and I've bought cheap shoes before, and I'm telling you guys, I got some weight to me. I'm a 265 pound guy. It's a lot of weight on feet. You got to have good leather. You got to have a good sole, and I've trudged through snow in these. But look, this is a dress boot. Like, this is a military inspired, simple, but it's lined. It's a good boot. It's a good boot.
Like, you know, it's unfortunate that we're in lockdown right now, but we have the Sable Island boot again. Like, it was almost the middle week of November. It was just Sable Island boot, out the door. So sure. It's a perfect boot for the season. So thank you for a little shout out.
And like, I've gotten like salt and all that crap all over them. Just wipe them off. Like they're just, they're just good to go. They're broken in. There's not like this big break-in period and stuff. It's a good boot. I'm so glad we found each other. I'm so glad I've been in the warehouse having 3-point competitions.
I know. It's so hard with this pandemic.
I
Like,
know. We're gonna do it again soon.
Oh, we're gonna do it again, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be really, really good. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about like you're big and tall. So
Yeah.
how do you maybe it's changed now, but how do you stay in shape? Like how are you maintaining that? Is maybe before pandemic and pandemic? Because I know everybody's got a kind of new routine these days.
I'm actually down 15 pounds.
Oh, wow, good for you.
And so I haven't been to a gym. I have like a rubber band exercise equipment. I mountain bike, I run. I have a spin bike in my basement. That's what I do. And a lot of yoga and stretching movement, which I do because of my size, right? I'm 41 years old, 265 pounds, 6'7". That package needs to stay limber or I'm in big trouble in 10 years if I want to stay active. So for me, that's kind of what I do now. Do I miss a squat rack and a barbell in a gym? Yeah, I do, but I can get by without it. I see no reason to complain. The world is just how the world is now. I'd rather adapt than whine.
That's good. No, I like your always your big hikes and your bike rides, and I like that you do it without your phone too. It's very inspiring.
Yeah, I try to. I try not to. When I'm in nature, I'm doing one of two things when I'm out for these hikes. I'm either listening to the musical score of some crazy war movie like a psychopath, or I have no sounds on and I'm just listening to nature. There's no median for me. It's one or the other.
Perfect. That's whatever keeps you. And so your mental health, how do you take care of that right now in this pandemic?
Sorry, my mental health?
Yeah, like how do you stay focused and strong, in this pandemic?
I'll be honest with you. Mentally, I thrive when the world's in chaos because my world is always chaos. I'm an ADD kid. I've got all that stuff going on. Hi, I'm just saying hi to people saying hi. I think that just being observational. I don't like arguing with people online about what's going on. You never see politics come into my posts. People are really deep diving into things that make them angry right now. Algorithms are doing that to us. So yeah. I try to avoid all of that. I try to have this kind of interaction, whether it be Zoom, FaceTime, in person when it's legal, with my friends, my close friends, my family, stuff like that. I live in a boutique-sized building, so I know all my neighbors well. We have hallway dinners, things like that, right? So
that's good. That's good. And then, so when we're not in a pandemic, like I know you travel so much for work. Like last year, you were in Berlin and Jamaica, Miami. How do you take care of yourself when you're traveling so much for work? And what shoes do you?
So these are the parks I usually travel with.
Yeah.
These have these have the highest amount of kilometers, I'd say, on the speedometer or the odometer.
Yeah.
I like them because they're gray, which means they go with anything. So I can wear them dressed up or dressed down. My shoes are so heavy because they're so big. So it's not like I can bring a bunch of pairs of Parks, but I almost always have those with me. And I'll usually wear them to the airports because I'm still old school where I don't mind looking half bad on a plane. Remember guys used to wear their suits and stuff? I'm not that far, but I'll have like a nice tracksuit on. That's like a fancy tracksuit. I call it a tracksuit.
You need to patent that.
yeah, right. No, I learned that from a Russian hockey player years and years ago. He called his Hugo Boss suit his tracksuit. So yeah, those are normally, that's an ankle boot, so it's versatile. You put that on with jeans, you put that on with dress pants, you're all set.
Wear so Christy, and it looks so good with like dark denim, charcoal gray, all those. We love one of our best sellers. It's a huge seller in the States for us actually too. So
yeah, I find a lot of guys, the mistake they make with shoes is that they gravitate towards black all the time, but it's not as versatile as gray, blue, or brown. Brown goes with anything. Blue can go with a lot of things. Gray goes with everything. It's a better look to me. There's obviously a time and a place. I have black Parks too, but I like the versatility of that gray and the distressed sort of leather look too. It's really nice. Like I said, I've done 12 kilometers in a day in these downtown Toronto. No problems.
Yeah. The sole on it looks nice as well. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's still clean. It's still got its texture, so I have grip.
Perfect. So because we're talking about fashion, what's your fashion style when you when you are wanting to look nice? Like what's your go-to style?
I like a fitted pair of pants that's got some stretch in it for us big guys. It seems like a lot of the big guy stuff now is kind of focused on stretch material, which just makes so much sense because if we're wider through the hips, you sit down in low cars, things are stretching out. So I like a fitted pair of dress or dress casual pants. I like a
Yeah.
button-down shirt or a
Yeah.
fitted t-shirt with like a jacket over top, kind of cool evening wear. It really depends. I have everything upstairs from tuxedos to, you know, I just bought like a vintage streetwear satin jacket from the 70s at a vintage shop while I was in Miami. I bought a leopard scarf while I was there. I'm all over the place. I'm a peacock. That's why I love PARC too. You guys have a lot of colors. I've got green boots. I've got suede, these faux suede blue. These are one of my favorite pairs. I've got everything, brown, all of the colors. So
you were those in a rum commercial, didn't you, or something? It was a rum.
I did rum. Yeah, Appleton rum. We filmed it all over Jamaica, the whole island, really. And I was using my parks and all of those shots because it was a low budget project. And they didn't have as much for wardrobe. That's the thing too. I've ended up with parks on and shoots because I'm so hard to size for shoots for wardrobe. But often they're not selling shoes, so they'll use anything. Can you bring this? Can you bring that? I'm constantly sending my agents pictures of my PARC boots collection, asking them which to bring. So I definitely had them with me in Miami.
We always appreciate that, and it's always good to drink rum while you're wearing PARC.
Yeah, agreed.
So, where's your most exotic photo shoot? Where has it been?
Santander, Spain, probably in the northern mountains of Spain near the border of France. It was one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. In the villages, in the seaside around there, it was pretty amazing. Exotic's relative, right? Like going to the top of Strawberry Hill in Jamaica for Appleton rum was amazing too. But I've been to Jamaica 5 times, several times. We were there for 2 weeks on the Bachelorette, stuff like that. So, Berlin this past summer was pretty amazing. Berlin was one of those fast friend cities where I'm like, man, I could really live here. And it was easy. Everyone there was so polite. Everyone pretty much spoke English. It was an easy place to go to, beautiful city. What else? Where else have I been that I love? For work, Costa Rica. I'm actually heading back to Costa Rica in February.
Oh, very nice.
It's my favorite country in the world.
Really?
Yeah, it's that I've been to. I mean, obviously, but yeah, those are the ones on the list. I've been pretty lucky. I was on a lot of flights in 2019, so.
Well, that's good because 2020, man. Thankfully, it's almost over. Almost over.
I know.
So I want to talk a little bit about you spent the last several years of your life behind the camera, or sorry, in front of the camera, and now I've seen that you've been doing a lot of photography as well. What's the inspiration behind that, or is that is it always been being a photographer aspirations?
I would say that I have a long history. I go back over a decade with camera equipment. I got inspired to do it more recently, seeing what was happening with the pandemic and the inability to travel for shoots, the inability to be on set, and trying to use my skill set to potentially, do higher quality content for these clients. That's actually the purpose of my trip to Costa Rica. Is I'm going down there with spring summer collections from a couple of clients potentially to shoot them myself in an exotic location that they can't send a team down to for so many reasons. Maybe their smaller brands can't afford that type of production. I'm going anyways. Get me the clothes. Yeah. So it's like I'm kind of jumping in with some brands. Say, hey, listen, if you've ever wanted to shoot in Costa Rica, you've got your guy. I'm the production team, right? I'm going down with friends that can help out and would be happy to be involved. So
that would be so helpful as well, because I know that you've been working with models too, and it'd probably be so inspiring for them to work with you because you have so much such a wide range of experience.
One of the goals was I'm kind of staying in my lane. Where I'm shooting agency signed models wherever I travel in the world. I just saw some down in Miami. I've been in touch with agencies in Costa Rica already. It's very nice to work with people that are newer to the business and kind of share my story and experience, so that this is a hard business to stay focused in and not get down on yourself. So it's really nice to share the positive stories, I feel, with people, work with them, mentor them, develop a portfolio, and just spend my time being creative as opposed to sitting around.
Well, that's like what I think is so amazing about fashion. Like you think of, I don't know, like Fashion Santa, his age, let's say, like, or Maya Musk, like, you can, uh, if you've got the drive and you're genuine and you care about what you're doing, like you can really have a career in front of a camera, behind a camera, being a creative field forever, like as long as you can bring the content, right?
That's right. And a part of it for me was too, the realistic part of this business is they're not going to want to take pictures of me forever. That doesn't last forever. But I love the business. I love being on set. I love the energy, whether it's acting, modeling. I just love being on set. So I want to get good at other things on set so that can carry out throughout my life.
That's really smart. I feel like that's so inspiring, and it's always good to have a backup plan. Like I feel like we work with a lot of athletes as well, and I feel that some of these young guys, when they play overseas or whatever, and then they retire at 30 and they thought they were going to be in some other professional league or whatever, and then they have, it's always good to have your hand in all the pies, I think, right?
That's right. That's right. Production's changing with this pandemic. And in a lot of ways, I think it's changed for good. So I'm trying to adapt. I could sit around all day and feel sorry for myself, feel sorry for the lack of work, feel sorry for clients that might not be in business with us all said and done. But I'm not like that. I would rather spend my time developing a skill set that'll allow me to move forward.
Amazing. That sounds good. So I was gonna, if anyone wants to ask any questions for Kyle, we can do that as well. I had one more question while we do that.
Yeah.
So were you able to shop off the rack growing up? Like what age did you hit like your growth spurt? Like because I know my sons are so little, but they're growing like crazy. Like how, when did you like puberty, or like were you able to shop off the rack, or did you like, I know you're close with your family, like did you have a tailor?
So no, this is such a hard thing to explain because you grow up not actually knowing what off the rack means. Like you're young, you're of limited budget, you just try and find things that fit. And I never really understood that things weren't long enough in the body. The sleeves were too short. That kind of fits. I don't know. The pant length, the legs are too wide, the pleats are ugly, all this stuff you don't know and you learn. And so I always kind of I had bigger feet, so I had a fascination with shoes from early on because they were so hard to find. So I got very good at sourcing out, oh, well, this brand makes up to this size and this brand makes up to that size and blah, blah, blah. So off the rack, I never really visited like the big and tall places and learned, oh, that's how this is supposed to fit. And then I kind of got better at it, a little bit better here, a little bit better there. I got friends with my tailor. Now I have a tailor here in town. And all of that stuff. So it's like, okay, this is how clothes are supposed to fit. Then you get access in the modeling world and go, wow, there's a lot of companies that make this stuff. Why doesn't anyone know? But now it's just really picking up steam, right? Obviously, the momentum slowed a little during a pandemic, but people are still going to need clothes that fit properly. People can still see that your shirt doesn't fit on Zoom.
Exactly. It's you know what though, once this pandemic's over, like fashion is going to be so out there. Like people are going to need to express themselves. They are going to need to show up, and it's going to be really fun. I'm excited.
Look what happened after the last pandemic 100 years ago. We had the Roaring 20s.
Roaring 20s.
Everything was a celebration. I can't wait for that. I'm going to go everywhere looking so fabulous.
So amazing.
I'm going to Costco with a leopard scarf blowing in the wind, and just.
That's how I've been doing it these days. Like, just any chance I can get out, Kyle, I am like,
Oh, yeah. That's smart. You're doing it right.
Dressing up. So I guess we had a lot of questions asked. I wanted to show you one more product, Kyle, that we haven't, because you haven't been to our office or we haven't seen you in so many months, but we are carrying new for the winter season, and it's leather gloves.
Amazing.
We go up to 2XL, which Yeah, which is a problem for a lot of men. So it's lamb skin leather, and then we do the touch technology in the fingers. So it's really great for like, using everyone's on their phone and in the winter, and then
Uh,
beautiful wool lines in there as
I was just
well.
gonna say, so it's lined with wool.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
And this is obviously huge for me, but we did them in the black and some suede and colors. I've got the creepy hand here. But just going into that whole thing for fit, we have when the store was open, we had a lot of big men who were really excited about the 2XL gloves. So that's something
Sure.
to keep in mind as well for the upcoming winter.
Huh. That's a great addition to what you guys offer. Like I remember, what did you send me home with from that last party at the warehouse? You guys had the scarves.
Scarves,
The
yeah.
scarves, really nice touch, and like dressy scarves too. Like there's the
Yeah.
big wool ones your mom knits, but you don't wear those to the opera. You want the nice patterned ones.
The
So
nice
I like having
micro,
both.
that's good. Yeah, we'll get some more out to you. The micro wool is nice because it doesn't itch, which you like.
Yes. Well, because I got whiskers and stuff here, right? And the
Yeah,
worst thing is
sorry.
you tear one off, it's like still stuck to you. It's like
That's perfect. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Kyle, for taking time for us today. We're so nice to see you, and I hope we can see you, in real life soon.
Absolutely. I don't know what the status is of the store, but keep in touch. And as soon as it's open, it just sucks because you guys open, and then I was traveling in quarantine and I couldn't get out there. So, but I will.
Well, we always have our fun warehouse where we, can shoot some hoops and some pool and catch up and have a beer, and we will do
Beers,
that at
beers.
some beers at some point in 2021. Okay.
Absolutely. That sounds amazing.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.